Look around. You can find cars like these on AutoTrader, like that car riding your tail. Or if you're tailgating right now, all those cars doubling as kitchens and living rooms are on AutoTrader too. Are you working out and listening to this ad at the same time? Well, multitasking pro, cars like the ones in the gym parking lot are for sale on AutoTrader. New cars, used cars, electric cars, maybe even flying cars. Okay, no flying cars, but as soon as they get invented, they'll be on AutoTrader. Just you wait. AutoTrader.
Watermelon.
Welcome
Jeez.
to Speed.
Whoa.
I'm Joy Taylor here with Super Bowl champion Keyshawn Johnson.
Hey.
NBA Finals MVP Paul Pierce and Fox Sports senior NBA analyst Rick Bucher. What a night.
Yes, indeed.
What?
What a
No,
night.
I didn't say anything. I said, yeah. I'm like, yeah.
Were you not entertained? You were worried about this being a
Are
sleepy...
you not entertained?
Thank you.
I mean, it's cool.
Oh, my God.
It's cool. It's good basketball. No, it's good basketball. It's cool.
What's going on with Uncle Key?
Uncle Key.
I ain't nobody's
What's
uncle.
going on with Kit Key?
I can show you some uncle-looking dudes. I'm a long way from that. A long way from that uncle-looking dude.
Well, the Pacers took a 2-1 lead in the NBA Finals last night with a hard-fought win in Game 3. Tyrese Halliburton was more aggressive, 22 points, double-double, but it was Indiana's bench that made the difference. Benedict Mathurin led all scorers with 27 points, plus T.J. McConnell and Obi Toppin made key contributions to the victory. The Pacers have not trailed in a series this postseason. Pretty remarkable. Paul, what was your biggest takeaway from Indiana's Game 3 win?
It's just flat out my biggest takeaway. Indiana's the better team. I mean, I do believe that. And, you know, from top to bottom, when I look at the depth, when I look at their style of play, when I look at who's the better coach, I'm just seeing all these little adjustments being played. Listen, this coach went to the final. I keep saying this. He waited all the way till he got to the finals to change his starting lineup. A lineup that won 68 games, a lineup that was 20 games better than the Pacers, and you decided to make a brilliant move, or not so brilliant move, by changing your lineup, and look where it's got you. In the hole, down 2-1, with one more game in Indy, and if Indy wins this next game, I already consider it over based on what I've seen, the adjustments in these things. I look at Wiggins, game 2, he played, scored 18, then you come back the next night, off your bench, you only play him 9 minutes. Like, what's going on? What's going on you amongst your coaches to where you're not trusting your bench, you're trusting your bench? So this just telling me that the moment has gotten to them so far. Now, it's not too late. I know you guys could put something together. You got the MVP. You've shown that you can go on the road and win. But at this stage, it looked like SGA is getting tired. This is a marathon, and it looks like we're starting to get a quarter through this marathon, and they look tired to me. And so it's starting to look like the Thunder are front runners. I'm gonna come out and just say it. They front runners. Everything's great. They get a big lead. Everything's great. Shots are falling, but when it starts getting tight, I'm seeing missed free throws. I'm seeing uncharacteristic turnovers. I'm seeing guys not be as aggressive down the stretch. So, like I said, once Indiana won Game 3, it's their series to lose. They have home court advantage. And great year, Thunder. Great year.
Oh, it's over.
Wow.
Yeah, I said if they win Game 3, it's over.
Okay. All right.
Rick?
Well, I think what it shows is that a team's greatest strength can also be its biggest weakness.
How so?
And that is with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams, they have two of the greatest one-on-one players that we have in the league right now. They're dynamic. They are hard to stop one-on-one. And as a result, they depend on those guys to be factors through the game. And what Indiana Pacers' Rick Carlisle has done is said, okay, you know what? We're going to press you 94 feet. We're going to wear you guys out. We're going to make you play for 4 quarters. And what you saw was by the time you got to, I don't know that you can ask more out of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And Jalen Williams, in terms of what he was able to do in Game 3, I think he shot 50%. Like he was getting to his shots. But by the time you got to the 4th quarter, Rick Carlisle was like, you know what? I'm going to hold Tyrese Halliburton back. I'm going to keep my stars fresh. He came with his bench very early on, trusted it early on, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander played probably the hardest 42 minutes that he's ever played in a game. And meanwhile, Tyrese Halliburton is playing 36 minutes. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but he wasn't putting all of the responsibility on him. Benedict Mathurin was carrying a lot of the weight. T.J. McConnell came in and gave them something. And so, as a result, when they needed Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams to close the game, those guys were gassed.
Gassed.
And so you saw it. In the fourth quarter, the Indiana Pacers shot 62%. And conversely, Oklahoma City shot 35%. I think those missed free throws were a result of fatigue.
Yep.
They missed 3 of their last 6 in the final minute. They've shot 55% from 3 through 3 quarters and then missed their last 4 threes when it mattered. So I believe it is a masterclass by Rick Carlisle. Like, what do I have that is an advantage over them? I don't have the big stars, but you know what? I got like 4 or 5 guys who can give me 18 to 20 at any given time. I'm going to let them cook, and I'm going to see if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander can score 40 and win a game if we press him 94 feet the whole game. He pressed the entire game, and said, I'm going to make this a war of attrition. And in the end, Indiana just had more left in the tank.
No, they did. And I think when you look at SGA and Williams, they did enough to win the basketball game. But when you look beyond them to the right of the bench, everybody that was there didn't do enough. And I think when you go back to game 2 and you look at what we did in game 2, the bench actually showed up and contributed. For whatever reason, Indiana's bench showed up and OKC's didn't. And Halliburton is somewhat on a little bit of a tear right now, just the way he's playing, solid and sound, not making any major mistakes to the point where it could cost his team. And so when you start to look at that, they cut down their turnovers. That was part of the problem in their first 2 games where they had those 40 turnovers. I think they only had, 13 yesterday, which was a little bit of a...
They had, yeah.
Right, 13, I think that was the number, which obviously...
Pacers had 19.
What was it, 19? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Thunder had 14.
But they had 7 in the first quarter.
But in the first quarter, there was...
Pacers had 13.
That's what I thought. I thought the Pacers had 13. Joy.
Yeah.
13 of them, okay. So they cut that down from their first 2 games, which was significant, and OKC didn't capitalize on them nearly the way that you would have thought they did in the first 2 games. So when you start to look at it, that depth, or better yet, the bench, didn't really necessarily show up. Like Alex Caruso wasn't Alex Caruso that we've seen in game 2 or even other games in these playoffs. But they got the best of them, and I'm sticking with OKC through and through, period. I ain't changing my mind. I'm not...
Jump off the bandwagon. It's time. We got some room left over here, Key.
I'm good.
Come on, man. You gonna go down? You gonna down?
Make sure you take a life jacket.
Are you worried about your
that ship be sinking.
prediction?
No, I'm just
Thunder
gonna
and
push
6?
it. I was at
Pushing
5.
it to 7?
I was at 6. I'm just going to push it to 7. I can do that. I'm allowed to change my mind.
Yeah, you
I'm
Will you
allowed
change your
to
mind
change my
again?
mind.
you can.
I changed mine, so you can change yours.
Yeah, I'm allowed to change my mind.
I changed mine.
Yeah, you change yours.
So
I'll
where
change
you
mine.
at with it, Rick?
I had the Pacers
Thunder-
pushing it to 6 or 7.
Thunder and 6 or
Thunder,
7.
yeah.
And then you switched it to Pacers and 6.
Yes.
Now look,
He came to my Saturday class.
Yeah, you joined the cult.
Yeah, he joined the coach.
but check this out though, Joy. The next game is
Drunk some of the goat blood.
Goat blood. Next game is when?
Friday.
So Friday.
That's a problem for OKC.
If
it's
in
so
fact,
soon.
if in fact OKC goes down 1-3,
Yeah, then what happens?
then I'm not gonna jump off the boat. I'm gonna climb off the side on the ladder and just get in. Yeah, I'm gonna just get in.
We're gonna have you a glass of the goat blood.
Yeah, I ain't gonna dive in. I'm gonna climb off the side of the ladder and just get in the ocean.
Look, I mean, the Pacers are much closer to the Thunder than anyone is giving them credit for.
Yep.
They are a very well-balanced team with a great bench. They play both ends of the floor. And if they end up winning this series, I really think it's going to disrupt the NBA in a lot of ways.
Ooh.
It's going to put a lot of pressure on these GMs because if you're a GM, you can't walk.
Do what?
Well, I mean, if the Pacers end up beating OKC, that were 18 games better than the next best team in the West, which
18 games better than the Indiana Pacers.
Yes, which we consider the tougher conference. You have the league MVP. They were ascending last year. So you can't walk in there to the owner and say, I have to have a league MVP. We're not winning because we don't have a league MVP. Or we're not winning because we don't have multiple all-stars. No, you're not winning because you don't have a super high-level coach, and you are not putting together the roster the right way. Yesterday, of course, Tyrese did what he did, but they had 49 points off the bench for the Pacers. The Pacers bench is what not only kept them in that game, but their performance compared to the Thunder bench it's obvious that was what pulled them through. Now they have a lead on the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, and they are in control of this series. So you can no longer say, okay, you snuck game 1, you stole it. Okay, you stole game 1. Well, now I don't care if you stole game 1 because you won this game. So they are very equally matched, and I do think if they end up winning this, we think that Tyrese Halliburton is either a superstar or is ascending into a superstar. No one was talking about Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers like we're talking about them now at the beginning of the season. We can't revisionist history this.
We weren't talking about him a week ago like this.
Yeah, yes, we was. He was doing this in New York.
I'm talking about the team. I'm talking about the Pacers, the team. We weren't really talking about him like that because we was all sitting up picking OKC to be basically
I was.
boat
I don't know
race
what y'all
them.
was doing. But,
You should know more than
whatever
that.
we were
NBA
doing
expert.
before this season, before this series started, is not what we were doing before the season started.
No, not at all.
And that changes things to me. Like if you can build a team like this, because we've gone through these phases, right? You have to have a super team in order to be able to compete. You have to have multiple all-stars in order to compete. You have to have a bona fide superstar MVP level player in order to compete or win a championship. If they do this in this modern NBA, this is a disruptor to me. They're not built like these other teams.
The big 3 idea is this puts a fork in it. The idea that you have to go get 3. No, I mean, because you can even look at OKC. Like, yes, SGA was MVP this year, but we were still doubting him going into the playoffs. Like, was he really that? We're still saying Jokic may be the best player in the league. So I feel like both of these teams are they represent what you're saying.
the new wave for
in
sure.
terms of depth and versatility.
The Pacers, to me, even not saying that you don't still need stars to win. I'm not saying that, but when you look at what the Pacers were at the beginning of this year, what the expectations were, when you look at what they were expected to do coming into this postseason, they have rewritten that story for themselves, which is great. But if they end up sealing the deal, if they end up winning the championship, that is a disruptor. The way that this team is put together is a disruptor to the NBA.
I agree, because now you can start looking like, well, we don't have to pay for 2 super max guys. We can have 1 super max guy, and then we can spread the wealth and add depth. That it is a disruptor. And when you look at it in that aspect, and that's why you're seeing all these high-profile guys get traded, to other teams for more depth, a la Luka going to the Lakers. But to go back to your point as far as the coaching, I want to point out one more thing before we move on, like the Carlisle coaching. I want us to look at some of the adjustments, and this is like night and day. There were some adjustments he made on SGA, and the reason he didn't play as well and had 6 turnovers, the most turnovers he had in this series, it was the coaching. Look, we ain't seen him get doubled all series long. And then all of a sudden they change up the game plan. They got him in spots right here, sending double teams at him, making him shoot bad shots. That's the one thing I really noticed. And then right here they got the double team. He's confused on where it's coming from. Travel. He turned the ball over 6 times. That's uncharacteristic of him. And it wore him down. You picked him up full, then in the half court you started doubling him. That's coaching right there. They got 5 eyes on him, surrounding him.
But it was select doubling.
It was select.
It depended on where he was.
And his hot spots.
I don't know if you can explain this, but I would never put him on the baseline like that. That's begging to have him trapped in that situation.
This is what they tried to do. They said, all right, at the top, it's tough for him to get angles. So they want to get him closer to the basket, 1 or 2 dribbles, shot.
So they were forcing him that way.
They made him go that way. Yeah. So now they was like, oh, you're going to do that? We're going to trap that now. And so it's just the coaching. It's clear. It's clear to me. One guy changes his lineup that won 68 games. Another guy's making adjustments. The other guy's not making any adjustments. I don't know where OKC goes from here, truthfully.
Well, teams that go up 2-1 in the finals are 50-13, so 79.4% of the time they go on to win the series.
What you looking at me for?
What's the odds?
You
picked OKC too.
I just wanted to hear those numbers.
You picked them too. You picked them.
I'm trying to get you to come. Come with me. Come with
You
me.
picked OKC.
They're trying to get you to join the Colts.
Come join us. Come join us.
Don't worry. After this game,
Goat
he's not
blood?
gonna have a choice.
You gotta drink the goat.
By the way,
blood.
I haven't switched my pick yet, so I haven't drank the goat milk yet either. Switching over to the football field, the 49ers had a disappointing 2024 campaign, riddled with injuries, but still have the fourth best odds to win the NFC heading into the 2025 season. Christian McCaffrey is back with the team and talks about how he's feeling after missing 13 games last season. Let's take a listen.
No, I feel great. I think this offseason I spent a lot of time kind of building back a base, starting from scratch. So a lot of it was rehab, and wanted to put myself in a position where I didn't miss a day of OTAs and I could practice and play football again and be healthy and not miss a day, and I did that.
So, Key, will the Niners be a real threat to get back to the Super Bowl this year?
Yes. Yeah, they will be. It's going to be tough within the division because I think Seattle will be a different team. Obviously, the Rams, how we feel about Rams and Sean McVay and what they got over there. But when you look at this team that was banged up a year ago, they were 6-11. They literally were banged up from week 1 through week 18. They were not healthy at all. So you start there by saying they're coming in much healthier. Obviously, this time of year, Rick, everybody's healthy.
Yep.
And so I like where they're at. And the players that moved on wasn't really contributing at the level that we saw, let's say, 2 or 3 years ago. Like Deebo Samuel had a somewhat of a down year in the San Francisco 49ers situation. We know with Greenlaw on and off the field, injuries, for instance. Ufanga, same thing, injuries, for instance. So you start to look at...
It's a long list, Key.
No, but some of those guys on that long list, Joy, wasn't contributors. They didn't contribute. So the core is still intact. When you're talking about Christian McCaffrey, and you're talking about Jennings and getting Ayuk back healthy, and Diamador Lenore at the corner position, and Fred Warner at the linebacker, and Bosa, and Big Trent Williams at the tackle, and Kittle, those are the same core guys that helped them get to the Super Bowl. I mean, it really is. I mean, Ward is gone, but they didn't feel great about Ward at the cornerback position. That's why they allowed him to go ahead and seek through free agency. So I like their chances. I'm not willing to say that window is completely closed on them. Maybe after the season, we'll see.
Yeah, they retained the core pieces. I think they retained the most important pieces. They have to see how their draft picks play out. They tried to restock there. But I'm just looking at the NFC, and the NFC West in particular, and the NFC in general. And the Eagles are head and shoulders above everybody else right now. They're the team to beat.
Are they?
I would say they are.
No, I think on paper they are, but
What's your question with them?
nothing's questionable, but they're not head and shoulders.
Okay.
Because
All
the
right,
Rams
fair.
literally was one bad play away from a whiff by a lineman of going in and scoring
Fair.
and winning the game.
Fair.
If the lineman doesn't whiff on the play, it's a different situation, a different conversation.
I just think there are questions with I can raise as many questions with every NFC contender as I can with the 49ers in terms of what they're going to be. Minnesota has a brand new
don't even know what that
right?
is.
Detroit Lions have a brand new coaching staff under Dan Campbell. And then everybody else is kind of just in the mix, right? They're a good team. The Commanders, let's see what Jaden McDaniels is this.
He won't have a sophomore slump.
Okay, well, we'll see where they go now that they're facing expectations as opposed to we're the new kids on the block. So I put them in the mix. Do I favor the 49ers? Not necessarily, but do I look at them as having as good a chance as 4 or 5 other teams? Yeah, I put them in that mix.
Now, you live in Northern California, correct?
I live in the Bay Area.
Okay. I didn't say what. I just said Northern California. That's a lot of
Bay
cities.
Area is still big enough.
Okay.
I mean, one could argue they're just as talented as Philly. When you look at it, top to bottom, you look at the running back position. Saquon may have the edge, but not by much. No. But when you look at the tight end, when you look at the receivers, quarterback, Philly may have. But like top to bottom, name for name, San Francisco is right there with Philly. A healthy San Francisco team, they gonna scare some people. And I'm looking at their schedule. The schedule look light. It look kind of light. They can get off to like an 8-2 start. That's what I got them at going into week 10, maybe 7-3. So
I got them I got them 6-1.
Damn.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got them at 6-1.
Starting out 6-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got them beating Seattle, beating New Orleans, beating Arizona, whatever. Jacksonville,
7-2.
losing to the Rams, beating Tampa, beating Atlanta, losing to the Texans.
Right.
That's an easy
Beat
start.
New York. They could be
Yeah, they could beat New York,
7-2
too.
going into week 10.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think they're a real threat to get back to the Super Bowl. People are probably bailing on them a little too soon. They did lose a lot, and when you start looking down the list of names, as you mentioned, Key, these are some pretty big names, some pretty serious players. My question is, are they going to look the same? I know they're going to be well coached. I know that they still have their core there. But the thing about the Niners for the past couple years with all these names is they were so tough and so hard to beat, and were blowing teams out. And it just, everywhere you look was a guy. There's a guy. There's another guy. It's like, how can you even afford to pay all these guys? So you have like some secret bank account? Like, how do you have all these players? It just didn't even make sense. So that's the part that I'm interested in seeing this year, is they've looked so formidable the past couple of years. I don't know if they're still going to have that edge. Now, I do like that Salah is back.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Good mention, Joey. I totally forgot about him.
Yeah, I like that he's back.
Good point.
And I want to see how they reboot after this year of all these injuries. But I don't know if they're going to have quite the level of, like Trent, I don't worry about. Trent is one of my favorite players in the league. He's going to do what he does. But like Debo brought a certain thing to them. This depth of the players that they had brought a certain okay, he's out, he can step in. Oh, he didn't miss this play, he can step in. And I don't know if they're going to have that still.
Puts more on CMC for sure. McCaffrey
Yeah,
has to be healthy.
I think it puts a lot on CMC. Well, CMC has to be healthy. I don't think that they're going to do
Right.
much of anything if he's not. But I think it puts a lot on Brock Purdy as well. I don't know that they're going to be, that they'll have quite the edge that they had the past couple of years because of the depth that they've lost, even if it was because, they weren't.
That's fair.
And having Salah back I was just sitting here thinking as you was talking, having him back, that's going to be good for them.
That adds something.
It's going
does.
to be good because he as a coach is going to be hungry because he wants a second bite at the apple.
Yeah.
That, he wants to be a head coach and he wants to prove that he can be a head coach.
I mean, there's no question what kind of defensive coordinator he is.
Right.
He's
Yeah,
excellent.
absolutely. But
So-
if they do well, he'll get a second bite at the apple.
Yeah, and he should. Coming up, Joe Burrow admitted that Trey Hendrickson's contract dispute is becoming an issue in Cincinnati. We'll tell you if the Bengals fans should be worried next on Speak. And don't forget, you can check us out every day on the Fox Sports channel on SiriusXM. Saquon Barkley won a Super Bowl in his first year as an Eagle and nearly set the rushing record. Saquon said earlier this offseason that he might retire early like Barry Sanders, but yesterday at mandatory minicamp, he made another big statement. Speak up, Saquon.
Since I got into the league, and I don't mean it in an arrogant way, I want to be the best running back to ever play, or at least one of the best running backs to ever play. I don't think there's actually a way you can prove who's the best, but that's always been my motivation, and I feel like God's blessed me with a unique ability and put me through a lot of adversity, and that's still going to be my mindset.
Key, any chance Saquon can finish his career as the best running back ever?
Absolutely. I mean, he's got some things to do. I mean, what is he, entering his 7th season, I believe that is? He's already rushed for 2,000. So let's just say, a hypothetical, what if he goes for 1,750 again this year, and then all of a sudden he gets another 1,800, and he continues to stay 1,500 plus, and he wins another Super Bowl. I mean, it's not or he clips 2,000 again at some point in his career. That would be a nice, nugget right there. And he wins another championship, so he certainly could, at the end of the day, go down as an all-time, great running back, best runner. He's certainly on that collision course.
Who's the best?
Man, I was told by the old heads is Jim Brown. Mm-hmm. Guys that the old heads, you say a name, they go, man, you crazy, Jim Brown was a bad dude. I was also told by many people, O.J. Simpson, Barry Sanders. I've seen Emmett play, obviously. Walter Payton, people have said. But consistently, I've heard Jim Brown. Now, I didn't see him play, and Rick covered him. So, You know, that's just the big difference.
Rick catching it straight right now.
But Jim Brown, though, have you ever met Jim Brown? Like face to face?
I
You,
don't
Paul?
think I met Jim Brown.
And Jim Brown about Paul height. Man, that dude was so big. I can only imagine how he was doing them back in the day.
But so then how do you think that Jim Brown is the best running back ever?
Based on the information that was given to me from people that was around in that day and age, then I probably would have to say Jim.
People are always going to be biased to that generation that they were,
Yeah, but-
that they grew up and they saw.
I know, but
But like,
talk about-
how do you measure? Yeah, how do you measure someone like Saquon against Jim Brown?
that's why I say he would have to do some crazy things, like win another Super Bowl, go
Maybe
for
like
2,000 yards
maybe
again,
like a
plus
couple more Super Bowls.
maybe like just one, right? And get a couple 1,800-yard
You gotta
seasons
give
or
me at
something like
least
that.
3, because you're probably not going to pass Emmett as far as yards.
No, he probably won't pass Emmett as
So
far
you
as
got to
yards.
give me as many championships as Emmett at least, putting up good yardage. You know what I'm saying?
No, I
Who's the second best then?
man.
He could be in the
I'm
conversation.
just saying, like, I agree with him in saying that, you know, there's not really a way to prove unless he just held every statistical category and
That's-
also had the most championships. There's really no way to measure that particular position as the best because people are always going
So
to say
off
that
the
Jim
top
Brown.
of my brain, 3 championships for Emmett that I know that's a top running back. I think Walter has one.
But is it just about championships, or is it also about
Well, there's
how many
statistics- no, but those
times
same guys
that
that I'm
you've been
talking-
all pro and how many times you've rushed for over 1,500 yards? Like, and then do we compare the old guys to those statistical standards?
Then you got to
Like,
say, listen, they play more games now than then.
right?
No, man, they
in
just
the
always
regular
tell me.
season.
I'm just saying they always
About
tell
Eric
me.
Dickerson.
They always tell me Jim Brown was a bad man. That's all
I think that Saquon absolutely has an opportunity.
No,
to
he
finish
does.
his
He just gotta
career
do some
as
special
one
stuff.
of the greatest to ever do it. He certainly had one of the greatest seasons
It's
of
so
all
crazy.
time last year.
It's crazy because there's really only one position in the NFL that never is debatable,
Receiver.
and that's Jerry Rice.
Nobody even bothers with that.
And then if you want to debate Dion, that's because you don't. That's because you want to hate on
quarterback's
Dion.
not debatable either.
Quarterback.
No, quarterback is debatable. No, quarterback. No. I understand. Our colleague won 7 and played in 10. I get it. But many people
I don't know whose
will
people is.
argue with you.
Whose people? Whose people? Your people?
What you mean, your people? What
Your people?
what
Whose
you-
people?
what is
No,
that?
it's us people and you people.
Right.
No, but there are there are folks that are out there that will say Joe Montana still. They
Nobody's
just
saying Joe
will.
Montana is better than
No,
Tom Brady.
they will. I'm just saying. They will, Joy.
No, they're not.
When
No, they're
the
not.
conversation comes up about one guy,
not.
it's always no conversation.
No,
is
they're
Jerry Rice.
not. No, they're not. And I love Joe Montana. Joe Montana held the mantle as the GOAT for a long time. Nobody's talking. I'm not talking. We're not talking about that.
Okay, I know how you feel about Tom, and I like Tom too.
That's how everyone feels about Tom.
Not.
It's how everyone feels
The
about Tom.
moment you say Tom, and that's what you do. As soon as you start talking something about
See, that's
Tom,
people over 55 say that about Joe. Under 55 is
yeah, I'm under 55. Duh.
Brady. Well, you know what? We're going to move the bar. 54 is
no
over.
bars
I'm under 54, so got
no
you
bars
again,
anymore.
Paul.
It's Brady and it's well, I don't know. Do we? Because we let me think. Nobody debates about LT, right?
No, that's another one, Lawrence Taylor. No
Yeah.
one
So
really
it's
debates
Lawrence
about-
Taylor.
It's
Tom
really
Brady.
Lawrence Taylor. If you
Jerry
okay, I'll
Rice.
do it for you. Tom Brady and Jerry
Don't do
Rice.
it for me. I mean, we have to say things that make sense.
I'm saying things that make sense.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you did because that's what makes sense. Tom Brady, Jerry Rice, and LT. Is there somebody else that a position we don't debate, really? I feel like that's it.
Dion, corner. We really don't debate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really don't debate. People hate on Dion because that's what they want to do. So they say my statistics are better or this, that. It's like, man, I don't know.
Do we
how
debate Ray
I don't
Lewis?
had a conversation. Linebacker position is an interesting one because Mike Singletary's and Ray Lewis's. So it's kind of like you had that conversation. You know, Dick Butkus back in the day, the middle linebacker. You know, they kind of debate that a little bit.
What was his name?
Who, Ray?
The last
His
guy.
name was Dick Butkus.
Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, Chicago.
Chicago.
Butkus.
Chicago Bears.
That was Chicago?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Chicago Bears.
Okay. I know the name. I'm just trying to. I don't remember. I ain't see it. I wasn't watching black and white TV then.
It was for sure black and white.
Sure where you were going with that,
1,000%.
Paul.
If you had a color TV back then, you must have been uber rich.
Things are getting spicy in Cincinnati. Let's go there. Joe Burrow talked the Bengals into re-signing Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but hasn't been able to convince the team to give pass rusher Trey Hendrickson an extension. Burrow acknowledged Hendrickson's holdout is a distraction, and it's not the only one. Rookie defensive end Shamar Stewart remains unsigned and left mandatory minicamp today. So a lot going on in Cincinnati. Yes, he is holding out. Stewart is holding out because of a dispute over the language of his rookie contract. The Bengals are trying to change the language in the contract for their first-round pick that allows the team to void future guarantees. So.
No, I get it. I understand. The forfeiture language is important. And then in contracts, they'll slide it in on you, and you just be like Paul, get the money.
No, I'll be holding out too. He's absolutely doing the right thing.
Hold on, man. Wait.
Bye. You can figure it out. Just pull a Keyshawn. Should the Bengals fans be concerned though, Paul?
Absolutely. See, this is the problem. When you got a team like the Bengals and Joe Burrow, who has Super Bowl aspirations, they've been to one Super Bowl and haven't been back to the playoffs in a couple years now. And when you're trying to build a culture and you come into beginning of training camps and you're trying to get rolling, and we're talking about these things, this tells you a lot about what the Bengals culture is all about. You know, they talk about winning, but are they willing to do the necessary things to get your mind right and get the team where it should be to start winning? They penny pinch every year. We did this last year with Jamar Chase. You know, we did this. Like, let's stop. Let's stop every year talking about the Bengals and who they're not signing. This is this is your defense. This is the one thing if you need to do, you need to shore up this year, is your defense. And now you over here penny pinching. I just don't get it, and that's why I just don't have faith in the Bengals, because when we go into these practices and when we come up here, we should be talking about the Bengals. Are they Super Bowl contenders? Can they come out and beat, certain teams? It's like we're talking about contract negotiations every single training camp.
Yeah, you know what, Paul, though? I really would like to know Shamar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really would like to know what they really think about him, because it's not a money thing. It's a language thing within the contract that they want to claw back some of that guaranteed money. And the only reason why they would probably want to claw back some of the guaranteed money is if there's some off-the-field issues that they see potentially could come up.
That's your first-round pick.
No, I understand that. I get that point. But why are they trying to claw back the money in the future if something goes wrong? What do they see that they think could go wrong? And on top of that, why did he leave minicamp? Because when you go to minicamp without a contract, there's insurance to protect you and protect the organization. So, why would you leave? That's my whole, I'm like, why would he leave? You don't leave. You don't go and leave. You go.
You're letting them know I'm serious.
Yeah, but you just don't go and leave. What you do is you sit out.
Right.
And you hang out and you chill.
Right.
So he's extremely frustrated.
Maybe they gave him the wink that it was going to get done. And
they might, but even still though, I just would like to know what there's no way of knowing because they're not going to tell us what they really think, even though they drafted him in the first round. Like, what do you really think?
Even
Why do
that's
you do that?
Silly.
No one does that. They always try to slip something in there that you can't catch. Mm-hmm. But if your agent and your lawyer's doing the right thing, they'll catch that sort of stuff. Every team in the league is a boilerplate contract in the National Football League until you start messing around with the language. So I just would like to know, what is it that they really think about the young man for them to be trying to take his money back if something goes wrong? Well,
all of this is a distraction. I agree with Paul. The Bengals have to start fast this year. They can't afford to miss the playoffs 3 years in a row. You just spent a ton of money. You paid your quarterback. You paid your receivers. There's always something going on with
Cincinnati.
The Bengals. Yeah, like it's even this situation with Stewart holding out. Like, huh? It's always the same stuff with them. And now you're saying that this is a real distraction. Like, yeah, it is. I don't know what they're going to do with Trey Hendrickson, but their defense was a huge problem last year.
Yeah, they need Trey Hendrickson back
they
in the worst way.
And he needs his money.
Yeah.
So they're in a tough spot with that one. I don't know how that's going to play out, but if I'm a Bengals fan, I am concerned because the heat is starting to turn up in Cincinnati, and they set the precedent for themselves. I mean, you go to the Super Bowl with Joe Burrow, and that's going to be the expectation now. And you haven't even been in the playoffs in the last 2 years. Health, all these other things are
I got
not.
drafted by the Jets. Because imagine if I got drafted by Cincinnati.
It's ownership. Ownership holds teams back.
Been tough.
I'd have tried to get a 19th year in college.
The Broncos and Chargers both made the playoffs last season as wildcard teams, but were eliminated in the wildcard round. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert says that he's moved on from the blowout loss to the Texans, and his team nearly identical odds as Denver to win the AFC West this season. Obviously, the Chiefs have the best odds to win the division. So, Key, who's more likely to win the AFC West, Broncos or Chargers?
Chargers. And I feel even better about my AFC West selection after running into Jim Harbaugh last night. It just feels I feel better. You know what I'm saying? You know how it's almost like he validated in a sidebar conversation with me.
Got you fired up?
Yeah, I was like, you know what I'm saying? I was really like feeling it though. I'm like, yeah, okay, I see.
What was he talking?
He was just talking.
Talk.
Yeah, he gave me
coach
the one. Hey, look,
everything was spurred.
1,000% coach talk. And I was listening like a player, you know, looking him in the eyes and the whole deal.
He sold you.
He sold me, man.
Key.
Hook, line, and sinker. I'm telling you. I'm going to the team to speak now and the whole thing, you know. He's like, yeah, I need you.
What is
I was
it?
fired
Go
up.
Bolts.
Oh, man, I was
so
fired
you're going to be
up.
in the meetings now, huh?
Man, I'm going to go.
We're gonna have some LA on LA beef on the desk. We got the LA Rams and the Chargers.
I like their opportunity and chances. He came in last year. In his first year, they go to the playoffs. No matter what happened. Okay, he changed the culture of the building with Brandon Staley. When Brandon Staley was gone, he came in instant success. And when you follow his track record of whether it was in colleges or in the pros at San Francisco, that momentum carried. And I feel the same way. I feel the same way about the Chargers in this situation, especially after I had conversations with him. Oh, man, I was ready, Joey. I'm like, man, I wish I could suit up right now. That's how I felt.
He still got it.
I felt that way, man.
That's how he come across. Me not knowing him, he just seemed like, because it's like coaches like that in the NBA. You talk to them, you want to have a regular conversation. It turned into, this is like a firm conversation.
Man,
like you in the locker room
he
with
called
him.
me by my first name as soon as we made eye contact. Hey, Key, baby. I was like, yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go.
He got you. That is the move.
But for me in the AFC West, I got to go with the Chargers too. If I have to choose, when it's that close, when you look at the odds, I got to go with who has the better quarterback. And obviously, I feel like Herbert out of the two. Bo Nix is a really good quarterback, but he still got more to prove. And then you add Najee Harris and Mike Williams to the roster, to what you already have.
You sound like Jim.
You add some great pieces moving forward. You almost can make an argument. Shoot, they might be the class of the division over the Chiefs this year. So I got to go with the Chargers because I truly believe that the Raiders will be better and they'll challenge the Broncos for that third slot.
Hey, Joy, who you think I asked him about? One player.
Hey, I'm not saying his name until he comes on the show.
One player, though.
Because it's rude.
Oh, your receiver.
Lad needs to come on the show.
Well, he's not doing much media right now.
I don't care what media he's doing.
Yeah, I asked him about Lad. I was like, what? I was like, Jim, so what you like about Lad? He's a baller and he's got some of that in him.
So now, please cut this up. We have to send it. Chargers social media, they be on the lines. Okay? So we got to send it to the Chargers social media, give them the whole tag.
Maybe we'll,
LA Chargers.
You know what we should do? We actually should take the show to Chargers training camp this summer.
Where are they doing?
I think their camp's going to be in Manhattan Beach at their new facility.
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
So we probably should go out there for a day and do that. I was fired up, though.
I'd rather go to the Rams training camp.
We can do that. We can do that, too.
It's Maui. It's Hawaii.
No, that's mini camp. That's this week.
Training camp is not there. Lad McConkey.
I
was fired up, I'm telling you.
It's rude. Yeah. You ain't got nothing going on.
Stop Joy, we're trying to get him on.
I'm saying,
You don't
come
call
on the
him
show.
rude.
It is rude. You've been saying his name on this show for
Real.
6 months,
You was-
7
You
months.
was biggest publicist.
Yeah.
Man, the dude is good.
No, he good.
Even though his
I like-
uniform look crazy, but he good. I can help you put that uniform together a little bit, though.
Give him that onesie. Come on, speak. Please, this is the last time I'm asking. I'm not going to be nice next time. No. You need to come on and talk to Keyshawn, though. Coming up, Kevin Durant has played for 3 different NBA franchises, but will he make his next team playoff contenders? We'll go through each team and give you our answers next on Speak. There are several teams reportedly interested in making a move for Kevin Durant. The list includes the Rockets, Spurs, Timberwolves, Heat, and Knicks. If that seems like a lot, don't worry. We'll break down each fit and tell you if KD would make that team a contender or a pretender. So let's start with the Rockets.
Ooh.
Paul, contender or pretender if KD joins them?
If KD goes to the Rockets, I look at them as a pretender. And the reason why, I just feel like at this stage at KD's career, he can't be the best player night in and night out on the championship team. He needs to play on a team where at least the main guy is better than him. Just like I feel the same way about LeBron. So for me, he's gonna be featured. And like who's the second best player? Sengun. If you keep him somehow, I just don't think you can take a Sengun-led team with KD to a finals.
Yeah, I'm with Paul as far as the pretending thing goes because, again, he's going to have to be the same guy that he was in Brooklyn, the same guy that he was in Phoenix, which is the guy on a team that doesn't have another guy. And you're now going to have to deplete that roster to get him to some degree. And who are you going to? Is Sengun gone? Or are you giving up Dylan Brooks along with? Like, who are you giving up to be able to acquire Kevin Durant?
Yeah, look, who you're giving up to get him is the question in with all of these teams.
Yeah. So let's not get into the weeds.
I don't want to
Let's
get
have
into
fun.
that. Exactly. So if I'm putting Kevin Durant is the answer to what they don't have right now.
Right.
So I would say that they would be a contender. If you added
It's
them,
unrealistic to just not
You're
get into
going
the
to ruin the
weeds.
game.
yeah, why can't we be in a happy place?
I'll just go with it. Fine.
Come on, Kit Man.
Fine. I'll go with it. I'll go with it. Finish. Go right ahead, sir.
We know they're going to lose players, but
I just said we're gonna go with it.
We're doing okay, sorry. This is on me. This is my responsibility. Let me put a pause. We're playing this game.
Okay.
Assuming that they lose the most minimal amount of players.
Let's say, even with the Rockets, if you add KD to them and they don't make no trade, you just add them to that, I still don't think they...
Okay, go ahead.
Well,
finish
and
up.
I do. I feel like a team that had, the second best record in the Western Conference is built defensively, needs a go-to scorer. I think KD, in terms of what he's shooting, he's let us know on social media that he still shoots a very high percentage.
Very good.
And they went home after round 1,
Okay.
having the second best record.
But that's why we're saying that adding.
No, I
I agree.
understand.
I think adding.
Booker and Beal didn't make playoffs, so...
I think that adding him to the Rockets would make them a contender.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. All right, moving on to the Spurs. Paul, would KD make them a contender or pretender?
I still think pretender. I like the Spurs, but they're young. You know, they haven't been to any playoffs. You don't just go from non-playoffs to being a contender adding 37-year-old KD. They'll be more competitive, but they're still a pretender, not really in the upper echelon yet.
Same thing. More competitive, pretender. I mean, I know we like Wemby and we're looking at that and going, ooh. Now remember, they're going to have a new coach. It's just it's a new situation.
Pretender in this case, because to the points you guys made, San Antonio is young. Victor Wembanyama is still coming along. I think there's probably even more talk about San Antonio than some of these other teams, and it makes the least sense for me as far as where KD is. I want to see him on a team that has the potential to play, and I would say that Houston has the potential to play for a title far more than San Antonio does.
Yeah, I agree. There's too much turning around in San Antonio right now. I don't think Wemby's there. They're not quite ready to compete at that level to add a KD. Next is the Timberwolves. Paul, would KD make them a contender?
Now we're talking, Joy. This is a contender because the last time KD won a championship, he went to a team that already won a championship. I believe if KD's going to get there, he has to be on a team that's ready to win and that's been deep in the playoffs already. That's the missing piece. So, yes, contender in my eyes. You had him with Anthony Edwards. That's going to be a tough team to beat.
For sure. Contender, 100%.
What?
I mean, you add him with
right.
Ant-Man, Julius Randle, you pick up a younger point guard in the situation, or you still got the point guard that you drafted, but you need to bring him along. I think they're contenders for sure.
I'm going to go pretender, in spite of where they went, and in spite of what I said about Houston. But I think that what KD adds is a surplus of riches. I don't need more scoring with that team. I need more collective efficiency, and I need Anthony Edwards to be a leader. He's still going to be my first. Anthony Edwards is going to still be my first option, and the general IQ of that team has to be raised. And I don't know if KD necessarily does that. The other part is
KD doesn't raise the IQ?
They need no. KD does, but does he raise the leadership? Who are my leaders?
It's
on that
still
team?
Ant-Man is the leader.
Ant-Man is the leader.
Okay, then we're still pretenders because I'm not impressed with Ant's leadership at this point.
We all talked about.
So Houston, who's the leader?
Fred VanVleet's the leader.
So you rather have what? Okay. But we talked about.
We're not talking about talent. We're talking about leadership.
Leadership, I understand. So we talked about KD not being able to be the number one guy on these teams, but he's not the number one in Minnesota. It'll be Ant-Man.
Okay.
But the
So
leadership
you
is
like
Conley.
that? You like that setup?
Conley for leadership.
Yeah. Which we've said we don't know what he has left.
Well,
Fair,
we're
that's
just talking about how it's assembled now. We're playing best case scenario
Yes.
game.
Fair,
Right?
Yes.
I think he makes them a contender. I think he adds to what they do. I think he gives
3-1, you lose.
It's not a competition.
I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are fool's gold.
But that's what I think that KD would help that. Over to the Miami Heat. Paul, KD make them a contender or pretender?
I think they're a pretender because they're so far off. They're a play-in team. Yeah, they got some nice pieces, but I just think they're not quite there in the Eastern Conference with adding KD. Again, he would have to be their best player, and at this stage, I feel like you need to get a player that's better than KD at this stage to be a true contender. And there's only a few of those in the league. Like you add KD to Joker or Greek Freak, then we talking. But here in Miami, pretender.
Ooh,
No, I
sounds
feel
like
like-
Celtics hate.
I feel like they would be contenders because the way that I look at it, they still got. He becomes their Jimmy Butler to a degree, with everything else because we're not moving players. Remember, Joey, we just gonna keep it the way it is.
I know the rules.
You know, and so you still got Wiggins over there and Tyler Hero and company. So I think they would be contenders coming out of a watered down. Well, I don't want to call it watered down because Indy may win the championship out of the East, but not a strong Eastern Conference, so to speak.
Yep.
Why don't we never mention Bam Adebayo?
I could mention Bam too. Bam's there. That's fine.
I'd say that he would make them contenders.
Yeah.
One, because you're in the Eastern Conference, and two, is what they most desperately need. I see them, these two, I see Houston and Miami sort of on the same track. Defensively, I have what I need. What I don't, I'm not buying Tyler Hero as my go-to guy on a team that can contend for a title. I need somebody who's a little more talented than that. But when I look at Eric Spoelstra and what he's able to do with a variety of pieces, and I give him just enough talent, I think KD puts him over the finish line.
Absolutely, I agree, especially next to Bam. If they can bring that type of scoring in, you don't have to worry about leadership there. We know that the Heat are going to put together a deep, deep bench no matter what they have to work with. So I think that makes them contenders. And finally, the New York Knicks. Paul, KD make them a contender or pretender?
KD makes them a contender because now we're going back to the super team era. This will make them a true super team when you add Brunson, Cat, and now KD. Those three guys are all NBA players. Definitely a contender in my eyes.
1,000% contender. Paul said it. You add him to that mix with Cat and Bronson and Bridges and whatever else they got on the bench and find the right coach in the situation, I think it'll be good.
That's my one question. I would say contenders on paper. Question is going to be, who are you getting as your coach? Because that is going to be an
I would agree. Contenders pending who they hire as the head coach. So KD has been known to go after his haters on social media. In response to one post that asks, "What have you done since leaving the Warriors?" KD responded, quote, "All-stars, 50, 40, 90, all-NBA efficient buckets, brother. I also got a career-high assists one year, hit 30,000 points, won a couple Olympic golds and MVPs. What a career, and I'm still going. I love my life," with some laughing, crying emojis. Key, what do you make of KD's response?
I mean, his response is cool, but I don't even know why you got to respond. And I understand that this is who he is and what he's been and things of that nature. I just, if it's me, and I'm Kevin Durant, because I know who I am as a player and who I was as a player. And even though we didn't have social media, we still had press and we still had newspapers and things of that nature. And there was some social media to the degree, and even to this degree, people would say, oh, you wasn't this. Ain't nobody listening to your ass. I'm not paying attention to you. And I'm baffled a lot of the times about Kevin Durant, because the thing that I would say to KD is, I'm KD. I don't need to talk to you or even respond to you. I got a signature shoe. I'd have made hundreds and hundreds of millions. I'd have been an MVP multiple times. I'd have been the Olympic gold medalist and all. Just, my resume. Why do I even need to bother with your ass? You a peasant to me. That's how I would look at it. But clearly, that's not the way he looks at it. And I just don't understand why. Like, I don't have time to be talking to you, man. Number one, whoever these individuals are, I don't even know anything about the social media world in terms of these individuals. But clearly, they've never done anything remotely close to Kevin Durant. Even close.
You don't think user OX man?
Not a chance.
I don't know.
Has a bag?
Not a chance. He's sitting there going,
Kevin Durant, you get to my nerves.
The voice.
There we go.
he's sitting there doing that.
What do you think?
Or Paul, he's sitting there, man, think he tough. I ain't worried about him. Click. Spelling it all wrong and all type of stuff. I just don't, KD got it. I don't know, man. I wish I could talk to my dude and be like, man, don't pay these peasants no attention.
Problem is, KD does have too much time on his hands. That's a problem.
We all got time.
He's got too much time, obviously. Look, I think I don't want to dive into why does the Dr. Phil explanation psychologically of why KD feels compelled to respond to people on Twitter. I will say I do think that KD wants to be judged based on his personal statistics rather than the teams that he has chosen to play for. I think he looks at it and says, hey, I've balled out. Like, the teams that I've been on haven't necessarily been as successful as you would expect a team to be that has me, but I've done my job. So I don't feel like I deserve criticism. I think that's where it's coming from as far as his response to what people are saying about the career that he's had.
There's nothing to say about my career. My career speaks for itself.
Well, you would think that, but...
Well, the thing about KD, we hold him to such high regard because there was a point where many consider KD the best in the league at one point over LeBron. And so now when everybody's career is winding down, and I look at whatever he's saying, he asked the question.
Stop plugging this man's Twitter account.
What have you done? He asked him, what has he done? And KD rightfully answered that question. When we went to say what his teams have done, he probably was a little right in that aspect. Because if you hold KD to the same level as LeBron and Steph, guys who won multiple championships, 4 to be exact, it was a failure because when KD goes to a team, you instantly think contender. And when he doesn't accomplish that, you feel like it's a failure. Like this year, Bron not going to the finals or winning, it's a failure every year Bron is in the league. Same with Steph. So we hold KD to that standard. So in so many ways, this is it's like a privilege that we say these things because we expect so much of you. As far as his greatest individual, that'll never be questioned. But as far as his team success after Golden State, and we haven't seen that, this is what people talk about.
No, it is, but it's tough to have team success all the time.
Measured against your peers, and they've had it.
But think about it this way, though, Paul. And I'm not a KD apologist. Me and him done got into it before, back and forth, whatever. But when I look at it, he goes to Brooklyn, and that thing was a mess. It was just a mess because of where we were in the country, all the sort of stuff. The Kyrie information and the stuff was happening, and then, James Harden came in from Houston looking like the Michelin Man size-wise, and all of a sudden he shrunk down. He started playing better. Then all of a sudden this happened, that happened, and then it just was a disaster. Nothing ever worked. And then he goes from Brooklyn to Phoenix. He's hurt immediately. He's injured. Then all of a sudden, they trade for Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal's injured. Nothing was put together right. It just wasn't. And that's the facts. The facts are the facts. It just was his teams that he was on in Brooklyn and in Phoenix had a lot of issues. It was just a lot of issues.
I mean, he chose those. He chose those.
Okay,
but he also earned the right to choose those places. Like, we start KD's career with Golden State. KD was with the Thunder and took them to a finals and won a league
Westbrook
MVP.
and company,
yeah, but they weren't Westbrook and them when he was there. They were all young players.
Yeah.
Like, KD did his time.
Yeah.
He earned the right to go to the Warriors.
Sure.
The Warriors, a well-run organization that drafted and developed Draymond, Clay, and Steph, and still had the space and money to be able to move around to bring in a Kevin Durant. I don't care that he chose to go to a good organization. I want to work for a good organization. I want to work with good people. I'm not going to dock Kevin Durant for doing that. He already did his time in an organization with OKC where he was drafted. He did what he was supposed to do. He took them to the finals. No, they didn't win. He won an MVP. He was excellent there. He earned his right to go somewhere else, which is what he did.
Sure.
And by the way, while he was there, he won 2 championships and was the best player on both of those teams.
And if he doesn't get hurt, he wins a third.
Right. So whatever people think about KD's career, you can think whatever you want. You can share your opinion on social media. People do it about me every day as well. And sometimes I respond and sometimes I don't. But at the end of the day, KD does not have to explain. If he wants to explain himself, do whatever it is you want to do.
Right.
We all do what we want with our social media. It doesn't make a difference to me. But this criticism of KD, stop acting like he started his career in Golden State. He didn't. He was in OKC.
4-time leading scorer.
Thank you. Won a league MVP. Took them to the finals. He had every right to go to an organization.
Yeah.
Stop with the suffering Olympics. You don't have to suffer.
No.
He deserved to go to Golden State, play with great players. He was the best player on those teams. He earned those championships. Hands down. If you think it's a soft way to go, you don't like achieving great things. You need great people around you to do that. They had a great coach, a great organization, a great roster, and those players wanted to play with him. By the way, Steph Curry took a back seat as one of the greatest players to ever touch a court in order to do that. So Kevin Durant doesn't have to explain his team's success to everybody.
No, I'm never going to question his decision to go to Golden State. The question is what he's done since then and why you left. And you went to Brooklyn to play with Kyrie. And you can say it was a mess, but
It was a mess.
But it's not like
they played together. I don't even know the number off the top of my head, but they played like 13 games together.
But you were walking into an ill-formed situation.
Okay, so here's what you charge Kevin Durant with.
Yes.
Making bad decisions on the teams that
Yes.
he goes to. Charge him with that.
1,000%.
Okay, that's fine.
1,000%.
That's fine. He's a bad decision maker on the teams
Yes.
that
Great
he chooses
player,
to go to.
Great player.
That's okay.
Bad
Other
team
than
picker.
Golden State.
He's a bad
Yeah.
team
He's a bad team
picker.
picker.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Charge him with that.
Yeah.
Coming
Talk
up,
about that.
Aaron Rodgers just finished mandatory minicamp with the Steelers. We'll tell you if Rodgers' impact has been more of a positive or a distraction. That's next on Speak.
I was once told my girlfriend picked me.
Travis Kelce is a 4-time All-Pro, but he's had some mishaps during his career. While talking with current Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, Kelce had a laugh about throwing an interception against Spag's former team. Speak up, Travis.
Do you remember the pass that I threw against you back in 2000?
That was against the Giants?
Oh my gosh! Man, I remember it like it was yesterday, and now I see it more than ever. Coach,
Did Landon pick it off?
oh yeah, well I think I more so just threw it right to him than he
threw
picked
it right
it off.
to him, yeah.
It was the most impressive 80-yard torpedo of an interception.
You
That
gotta
was God.
understand, I went gung ho, and
You went rogue.
I
You went
did.
rogue.
Yeah,
You did.
I decided to. I had one read, and it was throw it to Tyreek, and Tyreek looked like he was double covered, so I looked to the backside.
Can you relate?
Yeah, oh yeah. No, I can relate. You know, that thing looked different out there at the quarterback position when you're the QB.
Stop giving these non-quarterback guys a chance to be quarterback. 'Cause
Yeah,
when
no,
we see
you
Steve right
treat.
here-
Yeah, this look at that.
What was that?
Did you even look?
No, I just panicked. I was tired too.
Man,
And I
he threw that
panicked.
out. He just didn't even get to his gather.
I didn't even set up. Look,
I just gather. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
I panicked
Where are you
because Smitty was so wide open. I just panicked. Steve Smith was wide open. And then here in Dallas, it's another one where this one here, did I throw a pick? Oh, yeah, I threw a pick.
Forward. What are you doing?
Oh, man, it was a desperation play, I guess. I don't know, man.
Yes.
That one's not as bad.
Oh,
Yeah, it was like a...
First of all, it was a forward pass.
Yeah, it was definitely a forward pass, but it's more desperation play. The other one is just crazy.
Like, come on, kid.
Y'all love this stuff, huh? Y'all really like trying to embarrass me. It's all good, though.
No, we play your highlights all the time.
I should have just ran the ball instead of
you
throwing it back.
Yeah,
but
you're supposed to, like, keep
you're a good
that.
sport.
But see, this right here,
You got to gather right here.
I felt like that defensive end was on me, even though he was nowhere near me.
Was this your payback to the NFL for having them give you that many quarterbacks?
Oh, this is Carolina Key. That's why. Oh, that's Carolina Key.
I feel like 91 was on me because he retraced, and I ain't got eyes in the back of my damn head.
You were seeing ghosts?
Man, sometimes, Paul, let me tell you something, man. That thing just looked. I thought
There
I'm like,
was
he
no
on
one
me.
around
Nobody
you.
around you, dog. Nobody around you.
You had so much time.
That was Carolina Key.
He felt that beard coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I ain't gonna lie to you. I really did.
He was so far away.
See, Smitty got open so quick, I just panicked. I really screwed it up.
but
That's
did you
supposed to be a
guys-
touchdown.
Did you guys practice this?
Yes. And every single time, it was a touchdown.
He wasn't going to get tackled by that guy with that beard.
I was like, I can't believe I just threw a pick. But like Parcells would say, runners run, catchers catch, and throwers throw. Don't put the ball in the hands of people that don't know what the hell they're doing.
You should have thrown it back to the quarterback.
Oh, God.
Over to the Steelers. Last season, they were 11th in rushing and 27th in passing. But offensive coordinator Arthur Smith thinks this season with Aaron Rodgers might look a little different. Let's take a listen.
And we have our foundation things that don't change, but whether you lean into certain schemes year after year, you adapt again to the personnel you've got. That's what we try to do. And ultimately to win games and set guys up for success. You'd love to be more balanced. You're not obvious, depending on how you want to attack this defense, where you think their strengths, weaknesses are. I mean, that's the game that's played every Sunday. You know, and obviously as your roster evolves, I mean, obviously we didn't bring Aaron in here and sign DK for all that money to go run the wishbone. So, you know, you try to play to the strengths of your team.
He said they didn't bring him there to run the wishbone.
No, I get it. As I said before, I like it, the opportunity to become more balanced, and I think they will be a little more balanced in this situation. But historically, as you know, Joy, as a longtime Pittsburgh native and fan, that's what they do. They run the football, okay? And they can try to be more balanced if you like to try to be. Here's the problem, though. You have an offensive coordinator who, and I know it sounds crazy to the people out there that's listening to the show that really doesn't understand the way things are supposed to be done. They have an offensive coordinator that does not understand the passing game. You have to have somebody that understands the passing game to be able to get the true balance. And I don't believe that Arthur Smith understands the passing game. He became the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons because they ran the football. You know who they ran the football with? Derrick Henry. So all of a sudden, your running game is so strong and your defense was good. You were going to the playoffs with Vrabel as the head coach. You parlayed that into getting a head coaching job. Why he's coaching, I have no idea, because I wouldn't be coaching if I was related to who he's related to. In the end, you get this job in Atlanta, and your passing game is 16th, 31st, 22nd. Then you go to Pittsburgh, and you're the 27th in the passing game. Okay, prior to that, as a Titans offensive coordinator, you were 23rd and 21st. That ain't no passing game coordinator.
But he didn't have.
No, it doesn't matter, though, Joy. You got to understand the passing game. The reason that Jaden Daniels is successful in Washington is because they have a guy named Cliff Kingsbury that understands the passing game while having a former running back in Anthony Lynn as the run game coordinator that understands the running game. I'm not saying that Arthur Smith can't learn it, but I don't think he's there yet.
But you don't think I think it'll be a little more balanced.
Yeah, you got to hire a passing game coordinator.
You got to have somebody that understands the passing game.
I'm sure he's going to have somebody alongside of him.
Doesn't matter. Do they understand the secondary and the defense and what coverages they're going to run? Do they understand how to formate things from a formation standpoint that mirrors the running game, that makes things look the same, that the defense thinks, oh, it's a running play when it's really a passing
you think
play.
the system is the wrong system for Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers
wants to throw the ball.
Aaron Rodgers has only been, in his career, in the form of the West Coast system. Okay? That's it. Whether it was in Green Bay or the Jets, where he picked his own offensive coordinator that came from Green Bay that ran the system that Matt LaFleur runs in Green Bay.
But I truly believe you adjust to who your players are.
But if
they haven't had an Aaron
Paul,
Rodgers.
If I got you, KG, Ray Allen, and everybody y'all had, and I come in, and all of a sudden I want to run the triangle, something y'all wasn't doing, and I'm running the triangle, it's not a good fit. Whether y'all all-stars and Hall of Famers or not, you got to understand what principles are and things. So it's like, it'll be interesting to see. It just really will be interesting to see.
They make the adjustment. They got to make the adjustment. They can't go off what they did with Russ. They can't go off what they did in the past.
But if that coordinator don't know the passing game, what they going to get left with?
I mean, you can add some little tweaks and twinkles in there to like say, all right, we're going to do a little bit more. It don't have to be like a big overhaul into the passing game. You know what I'm saying? It could be like 60-40 now instead of 60-40 run. You know, in the passing game, it's not a lot. But you got a guy who you can kind of trust a little bit, who almost threw for 4,000 yards, who's shown he still got it, who had more touchdowns than Mahomes, Jordan Love, Jayden Daniels. A guy, like, I got to make this adjustment. I mean, come on. I can't just constantly think my run game is going to get me to where I need to be. Look at this. This guy had 28 touchdowns last year. Now, I know they only won 5 games, but look, he's showing that he's more than capable. We got to do something different around here. If we want to stop losing in the first round, we got to do something.
Yeah, but having 28 touchdowns is cool and all. But does Arthur Smith understand the passing game?
I think it's going either way. It'll come to a head because Aaron Rodgers did not go to the Steelers to turn around and hand the ball off every play. Like, that's not what he does. And if they start losing, it's going to get very loud there very quickly if that's the style of play. Now, I hear you. Obviously, you know this, but unlike the internet, who believes that I don't know where Aaron Rodgers plays football, that is the identity of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It is.
Play defense, run the ball, throw it here and there, maybe even a big over-the-top play here and there. They love a receiver. But at the end of the day, that's the identity. And whether or not Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to operate in this system, we'll find out. But I know that he is going to throw the ball.
Oh, he gonna go crazy. You have to put Aaron Rodgers in a straitjacket, though, if he can't throw the football.
Like, they're not going to be 28th in pass plays and 27. I'm going to put them around the 20th.
Passing offense, 27. Pass plays, 28.
Yeah, that's going to be different.
Paul, you got to understand what I'm saying
around
here.
the 15 mark.
Just listen to me before you move on again, Joey. 2019 as the Titans offense coordinator. He was 21st in the passing game.
He didn't have a quarterback we could trust.
In 20, he was 23rd. So he regressed from 19 down to 20, and then he went to 23rd. Then he gets the head coaching job in Atlanta in 21. They 16th with Matt Ryan at the quarterback position.
All right, that's respectable.
Then they go in 22. You know how many teams it is in the National Football League? It's 32.
Yeah.
They were 31st in the passing game.
Who was the quarterback?
I believe it was Matty Ice still in 22. Still was Matt Ryan.
Well,
then in 23, they 22nd. And then as a Steelers offensive coordinator, they were 27th.
Well, we'll see.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I just think it'll be closer. It'll be a little bit of adjustment. They had Mariota.
So it was Mariota, okay.
Yep.
22.
Oh, no wonder.
Coming up, we should be more disappointed. What should we be more disappointed by the Thunder or impressed with the Pacers after Game 3? That's next on Speak.
Wait, Joey, you looked at me when I said if I was...
How do the Pacers pull off the upset tonight? Because I do have them winning. First off, they got to get off to a great start.
Spins against Stewart, who backs off. That's going to see. He's got it going early.
2, the obvious. Y'all stated. Take care of the damn ball.
Siakam, Catherine goes in strong and finishes. Thompson and Mazzano play catch. It's a beautiful pass. Neesmith going without the ball.
Number 3. like you said, Siakam's got to be a factor.
Pascal Siakam with another transition.
And 4, can y'all slow down OKC's bench, please? I don't want to look up and see them with 48 points off the bench.
Hartenstein down the lane. Shot is up. Won't go. Caruso inside. Shot blocked by Siakam.
Those are my key takeaways for the Indiana Pacers. What you guys consider the upset, but I don't.
I found a perfect coach for the Knicks.
Just saying, though. Just saying. I mean, I know. Hey, listen, if y'all need a coach for the New York Knicks, I'm not available. So you...
No, but you killed it, though, Paul. It's almost like, you're the top 75 player and a Hall of Famer and the NBA's Finals MVP.
You don't know what he's talking about.
I know a little bit of something.
You know a little bit about a little bit?
A little bit of something.
They did hit every point on your checklist, and they got the Game 3 win last night. So you more impressed with the Pacers or more disappointed in the Thunder?
I'm more disappointed in the Thunder because I know I'm disappointed in the Thunder. I knew who the Pacers were, but I thought, this Thunder show a little more resiliency. It just looked like they got tired. It just like they got outcoached. It just like they got outclassed. It looked like they lost every aspect of the game that I thought they were probably a little bit, at least on par, a little bit better than. Like, this is a young team. You shouldn't be looking tired at the end of the game. This is a team that we said had depth. You should be able to keep up with Indiana. So I'm very disappointed in them. They look like, when the game was on the line, they look shook. They look like, I said earlier, they look like front runners. And then you start missing key free throws. Now, Shea doesn't have enough in the tank because he only gets 3 shots because he's been picked up full. He's been fouled pretty hard. They playing physical basketball. This truly reminds me, with the way the game is played, of like early 2000s basketball. A lot of fighting over picks, a lot of mano a mano, a lot of picking up full. Like they don't. If you watch during the regular season, the way these two teams, listen, they combined for, I believe, 59 threes, both teams. I see the Celtics shoot 63s every night. This team didn't, this is old school, early 2000 basketball, and it's beautiful to watch.
I agree. But I'm impressed with the Pacers because I look at what Oklahoma City has done. For the most part, they've played well. I mean, the first 2 games, they led the better part of those games. And I look at it as, and Joyce mentioned it, and I pointed it out going into the series, or my concerns about Oklahoma City going into the playoffs was they just hadn't played a whole lot of close games. Mm-hmm. They're almost a victim of their own success. They only played 5 games that were decided by 3 points or less during the regular season because they blew out so many of their opponents, and they were 1-4 in those games. Conversely, Indiana played 8 of those games, and they were 6-2 in games decided by 3 points or less. And so that's what I see. I see a team that suddenly, and I think this was Indiana's plan, which they weren't able to, for the most part, they weren't able to do it at all in game 2, but it was, if we can just keep it close, like if we can get it close and stay close in the fourth quarter, then we can take over because we're better at executing with the game on the line. We have more experience executing with the game on the line than OKC does. And then one other element that concerned me is that Oklahoma City's offense is fairly simple and predictable. You know who they're going to go to, you know where they're going to go to them. It isn't very complicated. Indiana, on the other hand, you can't be sure who's coming at you with the game on the line. Depending on the matchup, and Rick Carlisle is so good at identifying the ideal matchup, you don't know exactly who they're going to be coming at you with and where. And I think that gives them an advantage.
Yeah, no, I'm extremely impressed because they follow Paul's blueprint. Now, whether or not they was listening to the show or whatever the case is, they really checked.
We emailed it to them.
Checked every box and they executed it. They took care of OKC's bench, right? Siakam became a player in Game 3. That's somebody that they needed to lean on and didn't affect Halliburton at all the way he played down the stretch. So you talk about being impressed because what I thought is that they stole Game 1. In OKC in Game 2 realized they stole Game 1, wasn't going to let it happen again. They held serve, like I said, that they needed to. If they plan on winning the championship, they got to win home court. They took care of business in Game 3, and most likely it feels like they're going to take care of business in Game 4. So what you laughing at?
No, I'm just, when you said stole, I was like, man, they stole the game in every series in the playoffs.
Yeah, and every
At least
season,
one.
and every series
that's their
they
identity.
won. You know, and so in this situation with them, you know, you gotta tip your hat off to the Pacers. No question about it, that they were very impressive in terms of just handling business after losing by 16 and then coming home with their crowd and everything, and then down in the game until they closed the gap. What was it, 98-98?
Yep, 98-98, 7:40 left.
And then they decided, okay, we getting ready to hit it into fifth gear and take control of the game.
They have been doing this all postseason. Like, this is their identity. This is who they are. OKC should always be nervous if the game is close in the fourth quarter. That's what they do. They just keep you in striking distance and then rip your soul out.
Yeah.
It's really actually remarkable. And they never get phased
Yeah.
unless you can keep it truly out of reach from a totally unrealistic standpoint, like it was in game 2. It's not, they're not out of it.
Yeah.
They're just very consistent. They don't get rattled. They don't get too high or low. They keep playing throughout the entirety of the game. They're incredibly physical. Old school basketball, they're playing like high school. Like, they're pressing?
Yeah.
Like, the whole,
Pressing 48 minutes.
the whole game?
They
Like,
understand the race more than OKC does.
Yes.
Because they save enough at the end
Yep.
to say, even the thing about
for that
this,
last push.
even in game 2, even they was up 60, I was like, dang, I think they might make a run here. Hold on. Then they cut it to whatever they did, and they kept them at bay. Okay, so but look at this. Listen to this. They're a plus 27 in the fourth quarter alone. Indiana.
Yeah.
OKC in the first quarter is plus 23, second quarter plus 3, third quarter plus 7. OKC. In the fourth quarter, Indiana's plus 27.
Yeah.
Well, but I don't know that it's necessarily the Indiana players. I really think this is a reflection of the difference in coaching. And I don't, it's not to throw shade at Mark Dagnall. He's a fifth-year coach, right? He doesn't have anywhere close to the experience that Rick Carlisle has. Not anywhere close. Rick Carlisle has already taken an underdog team to the finals and won a championship. Mark Dagnall is still kind of figuring out like exactly what he has. And I think the surprising part with Indiana is that you're right, like every series they've done this. But the quality of the opponent has raised every series, and they still
they continue to do it.
And that's what's surprising.
Well, we know this. When you have a championship run, you need contributions from guys that you were not necessarily expecting to have contributions from or big nights from. Somebody is going to have to step up every single night and have those moments. And maybe no team in the league knows and understands and appreciates and follows and precisely executes their roles more than the Pacers do. And I do think that is also a reflection of coaching and culture because you have to be able to buy in every night. That, okay, maybe this isn't going to be my night, but I know tomorrow will be my night. Tonight I'm going to have to pass first. Tonight I'm going to have to be aggressive. And it continues to work for them. Coming up, people hate on the Lakers bubble championship. But LeBron says the bubble was the purest form of basketball. We'll tell you if that's fair or foul next on Speed.
Mickey Mouse.
Imagine this. The best pasta sauce you have ever tasted sits abandoned on a plate. Wasted sauce. That is a tragedy. If only you had used Barilla al Bronzo pasta. Its bronze-cut texture holds your sauce and scoops up every last drop. The Italians call that scarpetta. Capture sauce the Italian way. Barilla al Bronzo. Click or tap the banner to find out more.
Welcome back to Speak. It's time for Fair or Foul. I'm going to read some current news items, and we will tell you if they are fair or foul. Let's start with the Lakers, who won their 17th championship during the pandemic and the bubble. LeBron says that not only was that title legit, but that the bubble basketball was hoop in its purest form. Paul, fair or foul?
It's fair, and I know what LeBron was talking about. Purest form, meaning there was no distractions, no crowd, no going on the road, just all hoopers in one place going at it. And we saw the best from everybody, so it's fair in that aspect. But when you don't have to go on the road to Denver, when you don't have to go to OKC or Indiana, you know what I'm saying?
He gave us the love.
But listen,
he's stressed.
right.
Well, we don't have to go on the road.
LeBron's right about the purest form. It was just all hoops, no distraction, no crowd, Just get out here and hoop. I get it. I understood what he was talking about.
It's so crazy because Paul is correct. That's my same thing I said. It's fair because it's the purest form. There's no distractions. I don't have to worry. I don't have people asking me for tickets. I don't have to worry about who I'm going to dinner with after the game. I don't have to do any of that. All I can do is just play basketball. Look, it's like pickup basketball to a degree.
Right.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
We're in the gym is closed. The only people that can come in is NBA players, and that's it. We ain't got no spectators, nobody paying attention to us, no girlfriends, none of that stuff. And that's why we won our championship. And we gonna accept it. We gonna keep it rolling.
I mean, that's why it's Mickey Mouse. I mean, you know, at Mickey Mouse's house.
No, man, stop.
I agree that
y'all had a chance to do the same thing we did.
It is fair. It was a very unique situation, and in some ways, it was difficult in a way that no one will ever experience again. I mean, that was a lot of pressure and stress that you're not going to experience when you're not in the bubble. So I thought it was a fascinating experiment that they pulled off very successfully. Paul's former teammate, Tony Allen, was known as a defensive stopper in his 14-year NBA career. The four-time all-defensive team stopper said that even he wouldn't have an answer for Anthony Edwards. Paul, fair or foul, Tony Allen wouldn't be able to stop
Tony Allen, my brother, you know that's foul. I know you're trying to get Ant-Man on your podcast. That's why you said that. But you know, you guarded the likes of myself, Tracy McGrady, and even Goat Bryant said you were the most difficult man he ever had to play against on the defensive end. That's foul, TA. Get him on your podcast and then tell us the truth.
I mean, it's fair because he see what's happening now, not when Paul and them play. This is a different level, different league right now. Now look.
Oh, they're better?
Athletic
guard, Goat Bryant.
No, I understand, but he's just talking. He giving the man his flowers.
I think it's fair. He's showing some love to the younger generation. They're a little faster.
Make sure y'all check out Under the Mud podcast starring Tony Allen and Zebo. Next week, we're going to have Ant-Man.
I just saw Z. Yeah, I just saw Zebo at the AAU thing.
Men's college basketball has been broken up into halves, not quarters, since 1954, but that might change soon. The NCAA created a group to discuss switching to quarters like women's hoops did in 2015. Paul, fair or foul, switch from halves to quarters in men's college basketball?
I think it's fair because now it allows, the college game, because you do it at the high school game. Now allows the college to adjust if they make it to the next level, whether it be at the pros or overseas. That's the way the game is played anyway. 4 quarters. Let's do it like everybody else across the board.
Look at Big
No, I was looking for it. Is that Miles Simon?
That's Miles Simon.
Yeah, Miles. Okay. I see you. It's fair. Right here. Bam! No, it's fair.
Yes, I agree.
It's 100% fair. It's going to be fun to be able to watch 4 quarters versus 2 halves.
I agree. Make it all the same. Joe Flacco is the elder statesman in the Browns quarterback room with 2 rookies and 27-year-old Pickett. Flacco showed his big age of 40 years old when he was asked about TikTok dances. Let's take a listen.
The fact that people want to get on their phones and show people the most, that's embarrassing. You're an adult. Be an adult. It's just I can't wrap my head around that.
You're not going to be seeing Joe do any TikTok trends. Fair or foul, Key? You doing a TikTok dance?
Okay, so before I even go. It's fair, but I have an excuse because I work here at Fox and sometimes our social media team, they like to do TikTok stuff. So I help them.
You participate
in it, help them push the agenda and stuff like that. But I'm not walking around with no damn TikTok by myself at home doing. I'm not doing that.
What is this?
Oh, y'all so stupid.
How are we going to explain this?
Y'all so stupid.
The shoulder wiggle is spectacular. Come over here so they can see.
I'm trying, what is this?
How are we going to explain this, Keith? It's on TikTok.
Oh, fair or foul?
God.
I think it's foul. Come on, this is the age of social media. I've done some TikToks with my daughters. I mean, it's adjustment of the times. Come on, Flacco, wake up, buddy. Let's get you on TikTok. Let us put us on the speak. You see, me and Key have adjusted.
Ain't no me and Key. That's some. You know what stuff.
Stop. I think it's. I think it's fair. I don't think that Joe Flacco is going to be. Amazing. Coming up, can Ward pass the trash talking test at Titans minicamp? We'll tell you if that's a good thing for your franchise quarterback. Next on Speak. Y'all gonna hit the shoulder key? Cam Ward has hit the ground running at Titans minicamp, and his teammates are already impressed with Ward as a rookie. Defensive lineman Jeffrey Simmons said he tried to throw Ward off him, with some trash, off his game with some trash talk.
See, that I feel like they do this on purpose sometimes when they put things in the prompter.
But the rookie threw it back at him. He tried to throw him off his game with some trash talk, and he said, You like seeing this from your rookie franchise quarterback, Key?
I mean, it's practice, and I probably, for my quarterback, I want him to be a little more just receiver, whatever, DB, whatever, linebacker, whatever. But the quarterback, you kind of want him to just play the position, not get caught up.
Sounds like he read your book.
All the antics and stuff like that.
We old school, Keys.
We
all like a little banter out there on the football field or the basketball court.
I mean, I get.
As long as it's in a respectful way. It ain't, we like, yeah, I got that rook, because he gonna get called rook all year. And he like, that's all right, I'm gonna be rook, but I'm a yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do sound like an old,
come on, man.
grumpy, get off my lawn.
Come on.
Been doing a lot of unk stuff today, Keith.
First of all, I'm not no unk. I can show you what unks look like, and they don't look like me.
I'm an auntie, that's fine.
Yeah, but your attitude, auntie. You got an auntie attitude.
Auntie attitude.
Yeah, your attitude is auntie. Can't say
It's
nothing,
okay to
don't
be
get
unk,
checked.
Key. I'm unk. I like being unk.
What are you?
I'm OG young.
Are you like big bro?
I'm more probably a big bro than an unk.
You unk, Key.
Who gonna tell him?
First of all, I don't dress like nobody damn uncle.
We are new uncles. We're the new aunties and
but they
uncles.
just don't sound right, because you know how them unks look.
Nah, that's the old.
No, that's old unks.
This is new generation.
Them is Papa.
I gotta see. Y'all gotta show me what a new unk look like then. Y'all
You new unk.
You and me.
No, I still look the same. I look the same.
No, the old unks are pop-pops now.
Yeah.
That's Peepaw and Pop-Pop.
Yeah. They grandpas. We the new unks.
But I'm okay with him talking trash, I guess. I guess I'm all right with it because it's fun. And I had to think about my quarterbacks that were like older and kind of like conservative, and they played the position well, and they were very corporate. But in practice, they would talk mess to the defense after they hit them on a few strikes here and there.
There were a couple quarterbacks who were notorious for
talking smack?
Yeah. I feel like Phillip Rivers had a reputation for that.
Phillip Rivers was big at it. Brett Favre was big at it. Your best friend and Tom Brady was very sneaky and quiet, talking trash.
He is my best friend.
Vinny never really.
I love how saying that Tom Brady is the best quarterback is a hot take now.
Yeah. Did anybody ever get at you as a rookie?
Like talk trash?
Yeah.
Man, trash talk.
No, I mean like players on your team in practice and stuff like that.
Yeah, Twan Walker.
Twan used to do it.
Man, Twan first day gonna come in there trash talking.
Bad body and all.
Man, he gonna give it. That Chicago, all of that. Man, come on, you know Twan.
Yeah.
But did you give it back as a rookie?
Oh, no doubt. I'm gonna stand up for mine. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be like.
So do you like seeing this from Cam?
Yeah, I mean, of course, as long as it's done in a respectful way. This is showing that I'm gonna be competitive. This is just from the culture where I grew up at the park playing, and you could tell we grew up in the inner cities, and that was common in park play, and so it was nothing for me.
I told one dude in minicamp because I was on the Chitlin circuit, but I was a receiver, so I was talking smack. I was on the Chitlin circuit, so I was a little, tired, weathered, so to speak, meaning I had been traveling around, banquets here and there, and then we had minicamp. So I was just, quite frankly, I was out of shape, right? And they was giving me the work in minicamp. I told the dude, I said, man, you ain't even gonna be here in September, so I don't even know.
Oh.
Yeah,
that was like,
because I am. I'm gonna cut him to the white meat.
That was like
I told you. I said, man, you're not even gonna be here in September.
That's not even trash talk. That's just mean.
That is. That's low.
That's not even clever.
That's below the belt.
They got under my skin. You almost made me cuss just now. I said,
that was below the belt.
I like seeing this from Cam Ward. It shows a little confidence.
You asked for some Cam Ward, and we got Cam. It's so amazing how yesterday you said we haven't spoke on Cam Ward after I listed my top 5 off-season or mini-camp storylines, and you said we hadn't mentioned Cam Ward, and all of a sudden, magically,
this is the third time this has happened to me in the past 2 days. I've been speaking someone's name up, and they pop up. Might not be the time to mess with me. Coming up, we've got World Cup fever here on Speak. Stick around to see what Key would look like as a soccer player, as a footballer. That's next on Speak. The biggest FIFA World Cup ever comes to North America in 2026, and the countdown starts with a 1 year to go party live from Miami tomorrow at 8 Eastern on Fox. Keyshawn attended a World Cup party we had here on the Fox lot yesterday and got an AI rendering of himself as a soccer player.
Oh, that's him right there.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's Key.
That's Key?
In an alternate universe,
Crazy.
Keyshawn Johnson is
It was crazy.
the biggest footballer in the world.
Yeah, no, it was fun though. The party was fun. They did a tremendous job, but the whole AI experience though, they had like, it's not like a normal computer or anything. They had like some screen thingy walking around and doing it with all these cameras.
But we were calling you Kitman Key yesterday, though.
No, but I'm him. Like if I really played soccer, I'd be him. Look at that.
Right there, you.
Yeah.
Putting together the kits for the players.
Man,
Brushes and deodorants and towels.
Oh man, come on, man. Y'all doing me like that? I'm gonna steal all y'all stuff out the locker. Keep it moving. I'm gonna take all y'all Rolexes. I'm gonna get all that in the big old chain y'all be wearing.
We'll see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, I'm gonna take everything.